Hey guys, what is going on? Today I'm going to talk to you about guild banks in the Burning Crusade Classic. Guild banks are coming to the Burning Crusade in Phase 2, so you might wonder why I'm so excited. This is a new system to us. We have not had guild banks yet in any of WoW Classic. We've had to rely on one person having a bank vault that only they had access to and having very little visibility on that. So this gives us the opportunity to unlock a guild vault where everybody in the guild or whatever ranks you designate can view everything that's in the guild bank. You can also view the log, who's contributing things, who's giving money to the guild, and who's using it. So what is the guild bank? The guild bank is a golden item storage system that can be used by all members of your guild. The guild bank can be accessed in the same buildings that house the player banks. Permissions can be customized by rank to allow the players to view or not view, deposit, withdraw, and to pay for repairs out of the guild bank money. So how much do these tabs cost? In the Burning Crusade, you can unlock up to 6 tabs by paying a fee that increases as you unlock more tabs. Each tab has 98 slots. The first tab is 100 gold, the next one's 250, then it goes to 500, 1,000, 2,500, and then 5,000 gold. If you want to unlock all 6 tabs, it's going to cost you 9,350 gold. So once you bought a couple guild bank tabs, you can click on them to customize the icon, which is the little picture that shows up in the tab here, and you can also customize the name. I usually try and match the different tabs to the different permissions that I want to grant, and then try to make sure that we're utilizing the bank tabs as much as possible. So I usually have like 1 or 2 tabs just for general use for everyone in the guild to put in, like leveling gear or maybe like low level consumables that they have from leveling up professions, just so people can use them on their alts. I like keeping consumables in one tab. I also like to have a tab for gems and enchanting materials. Those things are a little bit more expensive, so I might limit the quantity that people can withdraw there a little bit more. And I always have a couple tabs that only officers can use. The rest of the guild might be able to see what's in there, but I want no one except for my officers to take anything out of there, because that's usually where we're going to put like our really expensive items. So like stacks of primals that we need for resistance gear, cauldrons, patterns that we haven't given to anyone yet, etc. All right, I'm going to show you where the guild banks are located relative to our player banks. So here I am over in the Aldar area. Here's our bank, and the guild banks are going to be located over on these sides here. And you can access this on either side. I've already spent a little bit of time organizing my bank, but I'm going to kind of quickly go through how I like to set things up. I'll usually leave the first couple tabs open for my guildmates to take things out of. You can limit people's daily withdrawals, and this kind of prevents someone from like clearing out everything in the guild bank and just taking it for themselves if they get mad or decide they're just not going to play anymore, or if their account gets hacked. Right now, for testing purposes, I have this character set up as the guild leader. To change permissions for your guild bank, you're going to go to your guild controls. You're going to select the rank that you want to modify. And down here at the bottom, you're going to see permissions for each individual tab. So let's say I want my officers to be able to update the tab text and view all the tabs for each of the different bank tabs. We're going to assume that tabs 4, 5, and 6 are going to be for officer use only, and we're going to just limit the amount of withdrawals they can make. They shouldn't need to withdraw more than a few items out of these tabs. And I'm kind of envisioning us storing materials like our primal shadows for when we need to get shadow resistance gearcraft for everyone in Black Temple. That's an example of something I want to store in like these higher number tabs. And then in the lower level tabs, I'm going to make the withdrawal limit quite a bit higher so that they can kind of do a little bit more organizing. And I also want to allow these characters to withdraw some gold. We're going to say 500 per day and repairs. Now, we're going to assume that our officers are not going to be withdrawing gold unless it's for a purpose that we discuss, hopefully ahead of time, or if they think that it's something that we really need to get done and they need to have access to that. I might not always be around for them to get me to give them the gold. Okay, so we're going to look at our veteran rank, and this is players that do not have officer duties, but they have been in the guild a long time. I want them to be able to view all the tabs except for 5 and 6. I want them to be able to deposit items in each of these tabs. I do not want them to be able to withdraw gold, but I will allow my veterans to repair off the gold funds. And this is assuming we have enough gold to support it. Usually I only like turning this on when we're doing progression for raiding. And that's because it gets very expensive for players to repair. And if we have a little bit of gold buffer, that helps our players out and makes it more fun for everybody if they're not worried about having to farm gold for repair bills. My veterans, I don't want them updating tab text, but I do want to allow them to withdraw items. We're going to say 5 from tab 1. They can do 2 per day from tab 2, 1 from 3, and 1 from 4. Our initiates, I want them to be able to view and deposit. And I always like making my first tab like a free-for-all tab so they can withdraw from this tab if you're an initiate, and just in this hypothetical guild that I have. Okay, so now we have our permissions set up. Let's take a look at our guild bank. So I've already unlocked all the tabs and I've deposited some gold here. So you can see that we have an available amount. And if you want to deposit more gold, you hit deposit and you can deposit money from your character this way. You can also withdraw gold this way by hitting the withdrawal button if you have permission to do so. So we're going to look at the tabs on the bottom. The first tab is going to show you all the items that are in the guild bank. The second one is a log. They'll show a limited number of the latest deposits and withdrawals for this specific tab. I believe it will store up to 25 entries, and then the money log. This shows how much is deposited, who bought the guild tabs, and it will also show repairs if you have that enabled for your guild. The fourth tab is for info, and you can type whatever you want in here. In this info tab, I would probably just want to type in what type of items we're looking to store in this tab and what they should be used for, if you want to allow alts to use this or not. It's you can also edit that in the permissions too if you have like an alt rank, but you kind of want to just tell people in your guild like what the expectation is for using these items that are in each specific tab. And this info is going to be unique for each of these tabs. So right now I'm in the general tab, which is just kind of like people put whatever they want in there. So if we go to consumables, we'll say, we're just going to put a quick note in there. Make sure you hit save changes so it saves the text. But for this tab, I want to have consumables that are available, and I say members and above can withdraw 2 items per week. And you can't really limit items per week, but this is just kind of good faith. Like, I have it set to 2 items per day, but if anyone's like going through and abusing and just like taking everything out and selling it, you kind of want to maybe have a talk with that person. But this will kind of set the expectation that this is for guild use and we all need to contribute to the supply of this tab. When you have limits on the amounts of withdrawals you can have for each tab, it's going to count 1 stack as 1 withdrawal. So what you could do, if you want to give people like a lower limit, maybe you don't want to allow them to take out 20 of a potion, you can actually split up these stacks. So for example, I split my major mage blood potions into stacks of 5. So if someone takes these out, this is going to count as 1 withdrawal. And you could do this with anything that stacks in different amounts. Like up here, you'll see I split our flasks into 1 stack each, because I don't want 1 stack to count as like 5 flasks. Nobody should need 5 flasks in a week. I shouldn't say nobody needs it, but like everybody plays different and everyone puts in different amounts of time into playing where they may or may not want to use consumables. But for the purposes of this example guild, we're going to assume that we only want our guildmates to take 1 or 2 flasks per week. Right here I have my gem tab. I set this to only allow people to take out a little bit at a time, and keeping it stocked with cut gems is just kind of a convenience thing for people. And if you want to further limit like what people have access to, you could take the uncut gems and move them to like one of the officer only tabs. I also like keeping materials for enchants, and maybe this will be like available to officers, or if you have like an enchanter that you in your guild that does like all the enchanting, you can give them like special access through custom ranks. And these later tabs, this is where I want to store like our more expensive things or things that we're saving for future content that we need materials for. So if we're saving materials for resistance cauldrons or resistance gear, like Primal Shadows, we're going to need in Black Temple for a lot of the Shadow Resist gear for Mother Shiraz. We're going to keep that in here. So that's all I have for you guys. The Guild Bank's going to be a great tool for us to have more transparency between what our leadership is doing and what our members are doing and who's contributing and who's taking. And I think that's just overall like a great quality of life improvement to the game. We went over a lot today, so if you have any questions or anything that I didn't cover about Guild Banks in TBC, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!